How your ego hinders divinely prophesied manifestation in 3 miraculous steps. In the quaint English village of Willow Creek, where the air was thick with the scent of blooming wildflowers, something extraordinary awaited to unfold. Every Sunday morning, the gentle chiming of the church bells echoed through the cobblestone streets, calling the faithful to gather. And amidst this serene backdrop, Anna, a devoted member of St. Jude's Church, found herself at a profound crossroads. Whispers of divine purpose fluttered like butterflies in her spirit, urging her to manifest a long-held dream, a charity meant to uplift the needy. But like a shadow, doubt clung to her heart, questioning her worthiness for such a celestial mission. As Anna prayed fervently by her window, the morning light streamed in, illuminating the dusty corners of her humble abode. A sudden rush of warmth enveloped her, and she felt an ache, an unmistakable yearning to embark on her charity. Words filled her thoughts like a pouring rain. "Trust in me, Anna." Yet the laughter of children and the wise murmurs of the elderly drifted in the air, contrasting her inner turmoil. Would she truly be good enough? With a gleam of hope, her family rallied around her, lifting their prayers to St. Jude, the patron saint of lost causes. An aura of expectancy blanketed their home, filling the air with a palpable sense of urgency. A few days later, Anna stood resolute, pen and paper in hand, crafting a plan for her charity. Yet, as the details unfolded, she felt an unsettling tension. Was her dream tainted by ego? Squeezing each detail of the charity into her ambition, she overlooked the essence of true service. This will bring recognition, she thought, ignoring the warning bells in her heart. But as days became weeks, her well-intentioned plans fell apart, crumbling like the very cobblestones she walked on. Disheartened, despair loomed larger than life within her, extinguishing her flickering spark of hope. On one crisp Sunday morning, Anna attended the service, heavy-hearted but seeking solace. As the choir sang familiar hymns, a wave of the divine washed over her like a gentle tide, unexplainable peace settling within. Just then, something miraculous happened. Mary, a beloved parishioner who had battled a grave illness, stood upright, her entire countenance illuminated with vibrant health and joy. Gasps reverberated through the congregation, followed by silent cries of hallelujah. Her healing was a testament to God's unwavering mercy, igniting a deep passion within Anna for her calling. But this divine moment wasn't merely a spectacle, it was a revelation. Anna realized then and there her charity could not be about her glory, but rather an act of love for those in need. She felt a mighty push, as though God orchestrated each heartbeat urging her onward. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. Armed with renewed faith, Anna poured her spirit into mobilizing her community. She shared her vision, igniting a flame of unity that swept across the village. As the charity took root, acts of generosity blossomed like the flowers in spring, drawing people together as they embraced the true nature of service. Yet, as the launch date approached, a nagging question echoed within her. Could she truly let go of her ambition? Would her ego rise again and threaten this divine mission? Standing at a distinct crossroads, Anna found herself wrestling with this profound uncertainty. What lay ahead in God's ultimate plan for her? As the days turned into a soft blur of light and anticipation, Anna's heart raced with a mix of excitement and anxiety. She couldn't shake the feeling of being torn between her genuine desire to help and the fear that maybe, just maybe, she would slip back into the grip of ego. Each morning she awoke to the dawn's light filling her room, whispering gentle reminders of God's presence. "I am here, Anna," it seemed to say. Allow me to lead you." In the midst of her planning, Anna sought the wisdom of the elderly parishioners who wrapped her in their years of experience and gentle faith. Mrs. Thompson, her neighbor and spiritual mentor, smiled knowingly as Anna shared her fears. "Oh, dear Anna," she said, "we're all vessels, aren't we? Remember, it isn't the vessel that matters, but the love that flows through it." Her words hit Anna like a warm breeze that swapped the doubt away. Yet, despite this wisdom, nights found Anna wrestling with her doubts. Sleep eluded her as she envisioned the charity's opening. Would the villagers come? Would they see the love behind her efforts? As she tossed and turned, she felt a soft poke at her heart, an urging to turn her worries into prayers. That week, the village gathered for a spring festival. Colorful stalls lined the main street, filled with laughter and joy. Anna, emboldened by love, seized the moment to unveil her charity plans amidst the gaiety. Standing atop an old wooden crate, she called to her neighbors, the setting sun painting the sky in hues of gold and pink. "Dear friends," she exclaimed, her voice trembling slightly with emotion, "I want to share something that has been on my heart. Together, we can be the light to those in need." As she spoke, Anna began to sense the incredible power of community forming around her. Faces lit up with understanding, and hands were raised in support. The villagers were no longer just onlookers. They were participants in God's great design, united in purpose. "Let us not just give our resources, but our hearts," Anna continued, feeling the heavy weight of her doubts lift. Hands clasped together, they formed a circle of faith right there in the festival's vibrant energy. An outpouring of prayers filled the air, an honest stream of thanks and requests for guidance. Anna found herself enveloped in a warmth that she had been seeking. It was the unmistakable touch of the Holy Spirit wrapping around her like a cherished blanket. She felt connected not just to her village, but to something greater, a divine purpose woven in the very fabric of their gathering. Yet even in that moment of joy, a shadow of ego lingered just beyond the comfort of community, whispering reminders of her fears. "Will you truly allow God to work through you?" it taunted. Anna closed her eyes, breathing deeply. The rhythm of her heart slowed and steadied. "Lord, let me be just a humble servant." As the festival ended, the villagers approached her, enthusiastic with ideas and promises to help. Their excitement surged around her like an uncontainable tide. Anna felt a flicker of doubt arise, but pushed it aside, trusting that the Lord was guiding them all. Yet, as they turned to explore the next steps, an unexpected visitor emerged from the crowd, an enigmatic figure draped in a cloak that shimmered in the fading light. His eyes held a depth that pierced through her soul, and Anna felt an unshakable surge of curiosity and apprehension. What divine message awaited her now? Every heartbeat whispered the anticipation of something remarkable. What was this stranger trying to reveal? Would he offer further clarity or test her faith? Unfolding mysteries lay before her, ready to reveal the next chapter in God's tapestry. Anna's gaze was drawn to the mysterious stranger, whose presence infused the festival atmosphere with an unmistakable thrill. His cloak danced in the evening breeze, shimmering like a canvas painted by the very hand of God. Every eye was upon him, yet Anna felt as if time had pulled her into a quiet moment, just her and the stranger, suspended between expectation and revelation. "Anna," he spoke, his voice rich and melodious, resonating with a calm that seemed to wrap around them both. "You are on the cusp of a great journey." There was no doubt in her heart that he spoke with a divine authority, as though God himself had orchestrated this very encounter. "What must I do?" she breathed, her heart pounding. Doubt momentarily slipped away, replaced by an intense yearning to understand this calling. "How can I fulfill what I am meant to do?" A soft smile touched his lips, and he stepped closer. "You are not alone, Anna. Look around you." He gestured to the villagers buzzing with enthusiasm, sharing ideas and laughter. Each soul had been brought together by a purpose far beyond the mundane. Every person here holds a spark of the divine, ready to ignite into a flame of love and service. Yet, he continued, the intensity in his eyes unnerving yet comforting, it is important to recognize the shadows that may come with your light. The ego will whisper, it will poke and prod, attempting to obscure your path. Do not let it dim the flame. Anna felt the weight of his words sink into her spirit. How do I keep my focus on God? The tremble in her voice was unmistakable. How can I be a vessel for him without letting my own desires muddy the waters? The stranger's gaze bore into hers, and for a moment the world melted away. Remember this. It is through surrender that you will find fulfillment. In your humility lies the power to serve others. He paused, sensing the gripped tension of her heart. You must take 3 steps, each rooted in faith and love. The first is to embrace prayer, not just for yourself, but as a community of believers. Pray together, not apart. Build the bonds that unite you all in His name. Understanding began to blossom within Anna, budding with warm anticipation. Second, he continued, learn to listen. Listen to the whispers of their hearts. Every person has their story, each echoing the divine purpose within. Your role is to guide them, to help them rediscover their own flames. Anna clenched her fists, nodding as the wisdom wrapped around her like a vine, rooting her foundation deeper into the soil of faith. And lastly, he said, his voice becoming a gentle breeze against the edges of her being, step into the unknown. Trust that God's path is woven with love and goodness, even when the journey seems daunting. It is in vulnerability that true strength is revealed. A hush fell over the crowd, the shimmering light of the festival dimming next to the light of the stranger's words. Anna felt the energy shift, the air pregnant with the promise of divine truth. This was not just a festival, it was a moment of divine appointment, urging her to rise to the occasion. But what if I falter? She asked, her heart racing, longing to embrace this divinely inspired path, yet frightened of the shadows that still lingered. The stranger smiled gently, drawing even nearer. Fear not the faltering. Remember, even in weakness, God's strength is magnified. Your humility makes room for His power. And know this, he said, leaning slightly closer, the true miracle lies not just in what you will do, but in who you will become. As the last rays of sunlight dipped below the horizon, Anna's spirit soared. The moment was drenched in the divine presence that stirred a hunger deep within her heart. But as she pondered the words of the enigmatic stranger, she realized that this was only the beginning of her journey. What incredible revelation awaited her next? What further challenges would test her resolve? The crowd buzzed around her, igniting the next chapter of her sacred adventure, one that intertwined her destiny with those she sought to serve. The laughter of the festival swirled around Anna like autumn leaves caught in a playful breeze. Though her heart still raced from her encounter with the stranger, there was a pulse of unity among the villagers that calmed her spirit. It reminded her of the warmth of family gatherings, where shared stories and prayers knit together lives in a tangible way. "Anna, you must come. We're preparing a play to honor the harvest." A voice echoed through the hubbub, pulling her attention back to her surroundings. It was Miriam, her closest friend, her contagious enthusiasm radiating from her bright eyes. Duty mingled with overwhelming excitement. Anna felt a tugging at her heart, an invitation to be part of something larger. But with each joyful call to participate, a whisper of doubt echoed in her mind. What do I have to give? She wondered. Come on, don't leave me hanging. Miriam's laughter rang through the air, warming Anna's hesitation. I'll help, Anna called back with newfound conviction. But as she turned to join her friend, the stranger's voice resurfaced in her thoughts. The call to prayer, to listen, and to step into the unknown. Integral steps, each demanding her full attention and faith. As they gathered with a group of villagers to prepare the play, the excitement of creation mingled with a deeper calling. Anna could feel the energy of their collective passion, each face reflecting the hope and promise of the divine message to serve. With each line rehearsed, she found herself listening more deeply, not just to the words spoken, but to the hearts behind them. Everyone had a story to tell. Some were filled with joy, while others carried burdens heavier than stones. As Anna wove herself into this tapestry of lives, she could sense the distinct flickers of divine light in each soul. By simply being present and attuned to their needs, she was beginning to guide them, just as the stranger had said. However, shadows still loomed. The ego, sly and insistent, whispered dark doubts. What if you fail to lead them? What if you forget the lines, embarrass yourself? It was a cacophony that threatened to drown out the beautiful cries of God's purpose at work. In the midst of preparation, an idea sparked within Anna's heart. She whispered to Miriam, "Let's gather everyone for a moment of prayer before we perform." Surprised but intrigued, Miriam nodded. "That's perfect," she exclaimed. The villagers quickly agreed, their curiosity piqued. As they formed a circle under the deepening twilight, Anna's heart swelled. This moment was dripping with promise. "Let us pray together," she said softly, her voice trembling with anticipation. "Let us surrender our fears and embrace our divine purpose." In that circle, hands joined and heads bowed, a peace enveloped them. As they prayed, Anna felt the shadows begin to lift. Each word shared became an act of surrender, releasing their struggles and opening their hearts to the divine guidance that awaited them. Tears slipped down her cheeks, not from sorrow, but from the tangible joy of shared connection with God and each other. In this sacred moment, she felt a growing certainty that her own journey was intimately tied to those around her. Their hopes, fears, and divine sparks ignited her spirit. Just as the prayer concluded and they looked at one another with renewed purpose, Anna sensed a flicker of movement at the edge of the village square. The mysterious stranger stood observing, his eyes bright with encouragement, waiting for the unfolding of their collective light. What next? Anna wondered, feeling drawn closer to her calling. It was one thing to step into faith herself, but how might she help others embrace theirs? The festival loomed before them, a canvas upon which much was yet to be painted. What other steps toward divine revelation awaited her? Could this performance become a beacon to shine hope for countless souls? Anna felt a flicker of excitement unfurling within her as she stepped away from the prayer circle. The evening sky, now a deep indigo, cradled the stars like precious gems in a velvet box. She looked around at her friends, their faces glowing with expectancy, and wondered just how this performance could be a mirror reflecting their collective faith. "What if," she began, as the firelight danced in her eyes, "we share our own stories through our characters? Let each of us reveal a piece of ourselves on stage." Miriam's eyes widened. "That's brilliant. We'll show our triumphs and challenges, lifting each other's spirits." The others quickly agreed, their enthusiasm rising to a crescendo like the melody of a hymn. As they delved into their roles, Anna realized something profound. Each story, each character, embodied not just their individual experiences, but resonated deeply with the village's shared struggles and joys. It was a powerful moment of connection. With each rehearsal, the walls built by ego and doubt began to crumble, revealing the vibrant tapestry of community woven in vulnerability and strength. Anna's heart raced, blessed by the realization that this project wasn't merely a play, it was a spiritual offering. Each line, each act became a prayer of sorts, an invitation for God's presence to fill the night with light. She could feel it, a warm sensation wrapping around her, igniting her spirit like a candle lit among shadows. Yet the whisperings of ego still lurked. What if it's not enough? What if the audience doesn't feel what you feel? But another side of her shouted, others need this. They are thirsty for light. Anna stood taller, determined to combat those voices. She took a moment, breathing deeply, and reminded herself of the divine promise. Where two or more gather in his name, he is there. The night of the performance finally arrived. Lanterns flickered in the dusk, illuminating the stage set against the tranquil backdrop of the village square. Villagers gathered, their faces bright. The air buzzed with a mixture of excitement and nervousness. Anna could sense their collective heartbeats sinking. As the curtain rose, a wave of unity washed over the audience. Each character stepped forward, an embodiment of dreams, fears, and faith-filled hopes. Anna felt her own vulnerability dissolve into the story unfolding before them. When she spoke her lines, she didn't just perform, she poured her heart into each word, reaching for the audience with her spirit. Then came the moment that silenced even the softest whispers. One by one, the villagers began to recall their own experiences related to the story. Anna felt a stirring of connection. It was as if their souls intertwined like vines in a garden. In this sacred exchange, something remarkable happened. Tears streamed from eyes, laughter erupted, and hearts opened wide. Together, they shared in the joy of witnessing transformation, even in one another. Anna knew then that it was not her performance that led the way, but rather a divine orchestration that knit their lives more tightly together. As the final scene closed, a palpable stillness enveloped the village square. The echo of their shared laughter intertwined with the soft glow of the moon, bathing everything in heavenly light. Yet, as they took their bows, Anna noticed the stranger still watching from a distance. His eyes sparkled with approval, and for the first time, she felt no fear but curiosity. What lay beneath the surface of his mysterious presence? What larger truths had he yet to reveal? The night held mysteries yet untold, and Anna sensed that the threads of her journey, her faith, and her calling were leading her ever deeper into divine revelation. What awaited her in the shadows of the night? Could this encounter with the stranger hold the key to unlocking an even greater purpose? As the applause rolled over them like a gentle tide, Anna's heart swelled. She had shared something beautiful with her fellow villagers, something raw and tender. Yet, amidst the joy and celebration, she couldn't shake a feeling that the stranger's gaze held a deeper significance. Each clap felt like a bridge between what was known and the enigmas that lay ahead. She took a cautious step toward him, her heart racing, as if beckoned by an unseen force. "Thank you for being here," she said, her voice steady yet warm. With a slight nod, the stranger replied, "You have awakened something profound tonight." His words were both a comfort and a challenge. What did he mean by awakened? Was there something more to the performance she hadn't understood? Her mind replayed the evening, the laughter, the shared tears, the undeniable connection of souls. Yet there was still a whisper inside her, a faint echo of doubt. Was this magic sustainable? "That was no ordinary performance," he continued, his presence spilling over with a captivating energy. "What you did tonight was not only share stories, you ignited a spark within each heart present. They sensed the divine." Anna felt herself drawn deeper into the conversation. "I didn't do it alone. We all poured our essence into it. It was a collective effort." Indeed, the stranger said, a glint of understanding in his eyes. Yet, it is often our individual fears and insecurities that bind us. You took a risk, vulnerable and sincere. This is where faith flourishes, outside the comfortable cocoon. She pondered his words, feeling the weight of truth in them. How often had she hesitated to share her faith, fearing judgment or misunderstanding? It had been her prayer to be a light, but the shadows of her doubts had often loomed larger. What if fear continues to creep in? She pressed, her voice almost a whisper. How do I keep this flame alight? The answer lies in the stories yet to be told, he replied, his gaze unwavering. Every taproot of fear can fuel the growth of your faith. Embrace your fears, for they hold keys to unlocking greater truths. A revelation washed over her like a wave of sunlight piercing through clouds. Every struggle she had faced was a stepping stone toward greater understanding and grace. Suddenly, the possibility of sharing even deeper stories, the messiness of her journey, seemed less daunting. Many have gifts to share, just as you do, and through your revealing, others will find their voice. He paused, as if measuring the weight of her next steps. Are you willing to journey further, to delve deeper? It's not merely about the performance. You are called to lead others into their own healing. Anna felt a current of anticipation rush through her veins. Could it be that this stranger was a catalyst for greater transformation, not just in her own life, but in the lives of many around her? As she opened her hands, receiving the invitation to act, she felt the flutter of fear and excitement intermingle. And what lies ahead if I choose to embrace that challenge? She asked, her spirit yearning for a glimpse. Divine connection awaits you, he said, a smile dawning on his face. As you step into the unknown, you may find the interactions with others to be laced with miracles. Faith resurrects hope, and from it, a community can be reborn. His words hung in the air like a promise, shimmering in the night. Each heartbeat echoed with a sense of purpose. Anna's soul stirred with the understanding that her walk of faith was not just about her anymore. It was an invitation to guide others into deeper realms of truth and hope. Yet, as she searched the stranger's eyes for more guidance, he merely took a step back into the shadows. The warmth of his presence faded, leaving her with only questions dancing in the stillness. What would this journey entail? What awaited her on the path of faith? The night unfolded, cloaked in uncertainties, yet colored with anticipation. Anna knew that the stranger had ignited a fire within her, one that would not easily extinguish. But what would that fire forge in her life? What stories awaited her pen? The mystery loomed, and she was ready to chase it into the dawn. Morning light peeked through the trees, warming the village with a soft embrace. Anna awakened with a rush of newfound energy and purpose. The stranger's words echoed in her mind, urging her forward. What stories lay beneath the surface of her heart? What truths yet untold needed to surface? As she stepped outside, the air felt different. The world around her was alive, pulsing with possibility. Birds sang sweet melodies, dancing through the branches above, while the village awakened in rhythms of morning life. She walked toward the gathering place, her heart racing as she envisioned not just performances, but connections, deep connections with those around her. With each neighbor she passed, a smile ignited something within her. She envisioned sharing her experiences, digging into her deepest fears, and inviting others into the light. Maybe others could find their voices too. Perhaps some held unspoken stories tangled within their hearts, just waiting for the gentle nudge of encouragement. "Good morning, Anna," Mrs. Hill called from her garden, her hands deep in the soil. "You shone so brightly last night. What's the secret?" Anna grinned, feeling the warmth of encouragement. "Thank you, Mrs. Hill. I think it's about sharing our true selves." Mrs. Hill paused, wiping her hands on her apron. "We all have stories, don't we? Sometimes it just takes a bit of courage to share them." Anna nodded, realizing the truth in her words. The journey ahead beckoned her, not just for her sake, but for the collective healing of those around her. Gathering with friends, she would create a sacred space, a circle where vulnerability and faith could intertwine. After breakfast, Anna called for a meeting in the village square. She stood at the edge, her heart swelling with anticipation as familiar faces gathered. "I would love to hear your stories," she began, her voice steady yet soft. "Let's create a space where we encourage one another to be ourselves, to be brave together." Murmurs of agreement spread throughout the crowd, igniting a spark of excitement. One by one, people began to share. Some spoke of loss, while others shared tales of triumph. Laughter and tears intermingled, lifting their spirits higher. Anna felt connected to each person, woven into a beautiful tapestry of life experiences. As the stories flowed, Anna sensed the magic the stranger had spoken of. It was as if a divine thread had been pulled, connecting every heart present. Her own story slipped out too, the fears that held her back, the moments she felt unseen. With every word, her confidence grew. Emotions poured forth like rain after a long drought. Those once hidden fears transformed into power, and she saw the light of hope in the eyes of her listeners. But amidst this joy, she felt a flicker of panic. What if she couldn't always maintain this momentum? What if doubts crept back in? Just as if reading her thoughts, Mrs. Hill squeezed her hand tightly. "Remember, dear, it's in the sharing that the spirit breathes. Fear is merely a shadow beneath the light of trust." Anna took a deep breath, drawing strength from her willingness to persevere. The world became slightly clearer, their shared stories forming a pathway illuminated by faith. As the gathering drew to a close, the villagers promised to return, eager to share more. Anna felt a sense of accomplishment. This was just the beginning. But as she turned to head home, the stranger appeared again, leaning against an ancient oak. He met her gaze with a knowing smile. "You have started something beautiful, but the journey ahead may not always be smooth." "What do you mean?" she asked, the flutter of uncertainty returning. "True connection often invites deeper challenges. Are you ready to turn those trials into triumphs?" A wellspring of courage began bubbling up inside her. Anna nodded, excitement and trepidation mingling within. She had ignited a flame and seen its potential. Now she understood that this journey was about to take her places she hadn't imagined possible. What divine lessons awaited her? In the quiet hush of the evening, Anna found herself standing alone beneath the ancient oak. The last rays of sunlight filtered through its leaves, creating a mosaic of light and shadow around her. The stranger's words lingered, echoing like a gentle reminder of what lay ahead. Trials, he had said, triumphs. Each held a promise, a lesson wrapped in experience. As she looked out over the village, she saw flickering lights appearing in windows, a tapestry of warmth and community. She felt an undeniable pull to deep dive even further into this shared journey. It was one thing to speak about vulnerability, but living fully within it required more than just courage. "God, guide me," she whispered, feeling the weight of expectation and hope blend into one. Stepping away from the oak's shelter, she walked back toward the gathering place, a little pulse of fear keeping pace with her. It was a familiar feeling, one she'd faced many times before, yet it always danced just beneath her skin, an echo of the doubt she had fought against. "It's all about connection," she murmured to herself, trying to soothe the inner struggle. "I must remember that." With the villagers' beautiful stories still resonating in her heart, she realized this was not just about her. It was also about opening pathways for others to share their burdens. What stories still lay hidden? Who needed a listening ear? Taking a deep breath, she decided to venture home, where she would gather her thoughts and prepare for another gathering. Later that night, as she journaled under the glow of a flickering candle, Anna's heart leaped at each stroke of her pen. Words poured forth, glimmering like stars against the dark page. Unearthing her dreams, she found herself daring to envision the next gathering, not as a... The time came for their next meeting, and excitement hung heavy in the air as villagers filled the square. Anna took center stage once more, though this time she felt different. A gentle strength radiated within her. Friends, tonight I want us to explore the shadows that chase us. What lies between us and our dreams? The air vibrated with anticipation, and she could almost sense the presence of something greater wrapping around them like a warm shawl. Just as she opened her mouth to share her own fears once again, something unexpected happened. The stranger stepped forward from the crowd, a solemn look in his eyes. "Are you ready, Anna?" he asked, his voice firm yet tender. Ready for what? She thought, confusion mingling with a flicker of anxiety. An unseen tension rippled through the gathering, drawing every gaze towards them. Ready for what? She finally asked, her voice softer than she intended. Ready to face your ego. It stands as both your greatest ally and the fiercest of your enemies, he replied, gesturing toward the villagers. It's time to shed the masks. Only in truth can hearts unite. Anna's heart skipped a beat. Could her own doubts and insecurities be the barriers keeping others from breaking free? An ancient truth began to unfurl before her, a bittersweet realization dawning. She had to expose the very shadows she sought to illuminate in others. Sometimes our ego blinds us, he continued, a knowing smile creeping onto his lips. What if I told you that the power to transform fear into faith is within your grasp? She gazed into the crowd, and the weight of their expectant eyes filled her spirit with resolve. Yes, she exclaimed, let's talk about our fears. Let's expose them like scars. We all carry them, and in sharing, we will find strength. With a newly devoted heart, Anna stepped forward, realizing that walking this path of vulnerability was not just for her. This was about liberation, about healing. Could the very act of unveiling their deepest fears usher them into an extraordinary transformation? As stories emerged, filled with pain yet glistening with hope, Anna felt the atmosphere shift, charged with an energy she had never sensed before. Each shared confession became a stepping stone toward freedom, a gentle revelation that God's light shines brightest through cracked vessels. And as the stories unfolded, a profound understanding began brewing in her heart. There was a divine connection here, something majestic waiting to unveil itself. What awaited in the depths of their confessions? The air felt electric with anticipation. The stranger fixed her with a piercing gaze, a knowing look that said, "You're on the brink of something extraordinary. Are you ready to see what unfolds when you set the sacred truth free?" As Anna stood in the center of the gathering, the warmth of the villagers' energy swirled around her like a gentle embrace. Each confession, each story, wove a tapestry of shared vulnerability, and she could feel the spirit moving among them. The weight of her own ego, the very thing she had wrestled with, now felt like a distant shadow against the brilliant light of their collective courage. "Let us lift the veil," she declared, her heart racing with fervor. "In the light of honesty, we shall shine together." The gathered souls nodded, some murmuring in agreement. Anna could see faces brightened by hope and glistening with unshed tears. This space, this sacred moment, was becoming a sanctuary for the weary. Then the stranger stepped back to give Anna the spotlight. "What does it feel like to hold on to your fears?" she asked, her voice steady yet tender. "What do we gain by admitting we carry the weight of these shadows?" A hush fell over the crowd. Eyes glistened as they contemplated the depths of her question. Anna's own heart raced with vulnerability, ready to share her own battle. "I was afraid," she began slowly, her voice quivering. "Afraid of not being enough, of being judged, of failing to connect. These fears held me captive, dimming the light within me." As she spoke her truth, gasps filled the air. A young woman in the front nodded, wiping a tear from her cheek. "I feel that same fear. I've hidden parts of myself for so long." "Me too," an older man called from the back, his weathered ace breaking into a relieved smile. "I thought I was alone in this struggle." Encouraged by their responses, Anna realized the power of her own words. She felt lightness washing over her as each confession opened more hearts. In that moment, a chain of shared fears unraveled, compassionate threads intertwining as each person stepped forward with their stories to share. "God loves us just as we are," Anna continued, her voice unwavering. "In our imperfections, we find strength. In our vulnerability, we invite connection." The beauty of this truth ignited sparkles of hope in the crowd. Eyes that once held sorrow now flashed with understanding and acceptance. Fears that felt so isolating were now shared burdens, reminding them of the divine purpose bound within their struggles. "The eagle must sometimes shed its feathers to find its strength in flight," the stranger interjected softly, creating an atmosphere charged with divine wisdom. "Every fear shared is a step towards soaring higher." Yes, Anna could feel a swell of joy rising within her spirit, like the gentle rush of a mountain stream. Our fears do not define us. They prepare us for trials that transform into triumphs. As the night unfolded, the darkness melted away under the glow of kindred spirits. Anna could hardly keep up with the confessions and revelations flowing around her, each one igniting a brighter flame in her own heart. What once felt insurmountable transformed into sacred stories of faith and redemption. Suddenly, the crowd began to swell with voices, rising into a rhythmic chant of affirmation. Words of faith intertwined with shared dreams, carrying a reverberation of divine unity. Was this the moment they had been waiting for? The stranger's eyes locked onto Anna's, piercing with an urgency that hinted at something momentous to come. "Are you ready to take the next leap?" he asked, anticipation crackling in his tone. "The moment when ego no longer binds but frees? It is within reach." Anna felt a rush of exhilaration. What lay ahead was an adventure into the divine unknown. Could they truly embrace the next step together and witness the miraculous unfold? Her heart raced with unquenched curiosity, leaving her wrestling with questions filled with longing. What would happen next? What transformation lay on the horizon as they prepared for the next chapter, hand in hand, echoing their truths into the universe? In the days that followed, Anna and her neighbors immersed themselves in newfound joy and purpose. Each gathering sparkled with laughter and tender confessions. Bonded by their shared stories, they unearthed an awe-inspiring magic. The very air hummed with divine energy. This wasn't just a charity, it was a blossoming community of compassion. One sun-drenched afternoon, Anna gathered her close friends in a nearby meadow, vibrant wildflowers framing their meeting. "We must dream bigger," she proclaimed, a fire lighting her eyes. "Let's plan a village festival, a day to celebrate our stories and invite others to share theirs." Miriam clapped with excitement. We can have booths, music, and storytelling. Let's spread the word." The energy felt electric. The festival was more than a gathering. It was an open door for others to step into the light, to share their burdens and unleash their dreams. As plans unfolded, villagers came in droves to contribute, pouring their hearts into the project. Together, they crafted decorations, prepared food, and organized games for all ages. Pride lit up each face as they worked alongside one another, transforming remnants of ego into a collective heartbeat of hope. However, with the festival's anticipation came whispers of doubt in Anna's heart. Would they really gather such a crowd? Would they truly connect with each other? The fear skittered through her like shadows across an evening sky. "What if it all falls apart?" she confided to Mrs. Hill. "But dear, it is not about perfection," Mrs. Hill replied, her tone gentle but firm. "It is about love and connection. The divine is in your willingness to serve. Trust that the hearts open wide when you give space for them." Those words resonated deep within her, igniting a desire for vulnerability, a courage to share her own truth, even when fear lingered. The day of the festival arrived, radiant sunshine spilling over the village, as laughter and music beckoned deeper connection. As villagers flowed into the square, Anna took a breath, feeling the pulse of something sacred thrumming in the air. Relationships and stories unfolded like blossoms bursting from the earth. Stepping to the front, Anna saw faces bright with anticipation. "Dear friends," she began, her heart thrumming with a mix of excitement and vulnerability. "Today, let's share our stories together. Let each voice be a thread in our tapestry of community, the beauty woven in our truth." The festival became a sacred space. Laughter mingled with tears as people shared tales of heartache and hope, vulnerability soaring higher with each shared experience. Someone began to sing, voices rising like a chorus of angels, warm and inviting. Anna felt the weight of her own worries diminish. It was in these shared moments that the essence of their being struck true. The stranger, observing from a distance, nodded with approval, his presence a quiet encouragement that underscored the unfolding magic. Yet as the last note faded, an unease stirred in Anna's core. Was everything going as intended? Would their newfound connections last, or would they dissipate into the everyday grind? Observing her restless spirit, the stranger approached her, his voice speaking softly yet powerfully. "You have shared love today, Anna. But remember, connection takes perseverance. The true miracle is birthed in the everyday moments and continuous stories yet to unfold." Her heart raced as clarity swept over her. Yes, this festival was the beginning, not the end. It was an opportunity to keep inviting the light, to keep nurturing their connections long after today. "You're right," she realized out loud. "This is not just a festival. It is an invitation to maintain our bonds." With renewed focus, she sprang into action. As the festival wrapped, Anna urged each person to exchange contact details. "Let's continue meeting. Let's form a circle of encouragement, a community devoted to uplifting each other." Laughter and shouts of agreement spread like wildfire as she sensed the excitement bubbling up around her. Days turned into weeks, and Anna led weekly gatherings. They laughed, cried, and prayed together. Gradually, the shadows of doubt dissolved. With every session, love grew like a forest blossoming into fullness, strong and unshakable. Doubt was fading like the mist at dawn. And then one evening, as they gathered once more beneath the starlit sky, Anna understood something profound. Her journey with the villagers wasn't just about charity or even the festival. It was about each person discovering their divine purpose together. The unique gifts each soul held sparked a warmth in their community, illuminating the darkness that once lingered near. With this realization radiating in her heart, Anna felt the essence of the stranger's guidance flourishing within her. The truth settled in with abundance. This path would always have its challenges, but together they could brave any storm. Together, they could lift each other higher than any one individual could alone. As laughter erupted from her circle, Anna looked around, her heart swelling with gratitude. "Thank you, Lord," she whispered, the realization that their light was forever intertwined, bathing her spirit in warmth. The next day, she ventured into the village, energized and fueled by love. It was clear what they were building, a community intertwined by faith, fearlessness, and the embracing of trials that would lead to triumphs, like flowers reaching for sunlight.
The shadows of ego still whispered, but she was determined. As she shared her journey, she invited others to step into this legacy of connection. With each story and confession, the voice of doubt diminished, replaced by faith and empowerment. Anna knew it was time to share more than just words. Her actions would embody the spirit of resilience and love. The stranger remained a watchful presence, a reminder that their journey only just began. Anna felt a surge of purpose to be even bolder in her faith. Bring on the unknown, she resolved, the air around her alive with promise. That night, as stars twinkled with divine glimmers above, Anna opened her heart and stepped forward into unknown terrain, ready to shine. The world awaited, and she embraced her calling, fully entwined with every soul around her. Now, dear friends, as this story comes to its divine conclusion, reflect on the threads woven through this journey. Right here, you too have your own story, full of trials and triumphs. You must share it. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories that can ignite your own spirit and open up divine connections. Leave a like now to show your support and help your fellow brothers and sisters dive deeper into this journey of faith together. Comment below your reactions and your testimonies about this powerful ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation of hope and love. Don't wait even one more second to show them the beauty that awaits in their own lives as they pursue their divine calling.